Now, your most accurate forecast from the First Coast News Weather Team, sponsored by AC Designs.
Well, I'd like to say, well, there's good news. It's just a tropical storm, but really, that's not full disclosure, folks. In the satellite, this sure does look like it's a hurricane. Pressure sure does look like it's a hurricane, and I think all that's happening is the hurricane hunters or the National Hurricane Center waiting for the hurricane hunters to get in here. I think by 8 o'clock, that'll be the next advisory. We're going to be calling this Hurricane Idalia, and this hurricane is going to intensify. All conditions are ripe. We've talked, of course, all summer long about the record water temperatures around the world, really, but some Gulf of Mexico surface temperatures in the 90s even now with showers and thunderstorms over the air. So now we're expecting what we call rapid intensification. And yes, that means fast, but there's a scientific definition of that. That is, the pressure drops about 2 to 3 millibars an hour for 24 hours. And as pressure drops, the winds come up. So now the forecast is for a Category 3 major hurricane Wednesday morning at 2 a.m., which means although you see then it goes from a 3 to a 1, it will probably continue to intensify until it makes landfall. Current forecast would be for the eye wall to make landfall just northwest up the coast from Cedar Key, which would put Cedar Key in an area of a potential 12, I think maybe 15-foot storm surge. So catastrophic for them. In other words, this could possibly even become a Category 4 before making landfall. Then as a Category 1 right over Lake City. So that's pretty much the forecast we've been sticking with for the last 3 days or so. Here are all the watches and warnings. Now, you may be a bit confused, but please don't be. Notice where we're saying there will be a hurricane, and if we really nail it down, maybe the center of the eye would go between Lake City and Live Oak. So if we know there's going to be a hurricane, as best as science can know, a little over 36 hours beyond, why not a watch? Because, or why not a warning? I'm sorry, the hurricane watch is there, so why not a warning for you folks out there? Because a hurricane warning isn't issued until the onset of what we think will be tropical storm force winds in 36 hours, and it's probably going to be in about 37 hours. So by 11 o'clock tonight, plan on a hurricane warning now instead of waiting up. If you want to get some sleep tonight, why wait till 11 o'clock? You should be preparing in Columbia County, and for that matter, the Suwannee River Valley, and really even Western Baker and Union County for a Category 1 hurricane. For those of you in mobile homes, especially in the Columbia County area, and especially if it's an older mobile home, I would find a safer place to go. What about the rest of us? The rest of us probably won't quite have hurricane conditions, but there's going to be gusts up to near hurricane force, which means for the rest of us, we will have power outages and there will be some isolated tornadoes, the stormiest of the weather. Pretty much think dawn to dusk on Wednesday. So here is the eye. It'll probably still have an eye and an eye wall late morning to near noon on Wednesday, but then this large area of winds, at least to produce some isolated damage, not talking about widespread damage elsewhere, and some isolated power outages. I think power outages could go on for days in the Suwannee River Valley and possibly for the Okefenokee. For the Jacksonville metro area, I don't think quite days, but of course that remains to be seen. So I'd prepare yourself, your household, to make sure what you would need if in fact there is a power outage that goes beyond just a few hours. So I just wanted to show you something as far as the satellite picture. We've talked about this before, but even if you don't have the numbers, when you see a satellite picture and you see a pinhole, do you see that? That's not a hole in the screen. That's the eye. Then you know we're talking about a major hurricane, at least a Category 3, and this has now become a Category 4 hurricane. I also mentioned that, oh, by the way, this is Franklin. It is going to make the turn. It's 600 miles east of us. We've been talking about this since Friday, and that will send us a rip current risk. But I wanted to show you this because, although we can't show it to you here because this is technically just becoming a hurricane, if you're going to be watching with us over the next couple of days, check it out and see if on Wednesday morning, this doesn't look like this does right now. Hopefully it won't. But the forecast sure seems to indicate we're going to have a major hurricane, which means there'll be a pinhole eye that will be visible. What about between now and Tuesday night? Just a few scattered showers and thunderstorms, kind of like a late summer afternoon and evening. So be prepared, get ready through this evening, but then don't worry about doing stuff in the dark tonight. You'll have Tuesday, plenty of time on Tuesday until Tuesday night. But I would have whatever your preparations need to be, I would have them done by sunset on Tuesday. What do you need to do? It's going to really vary county by county depending on what to expect. And in less than 30 minutes, the next forecast that I do, we will cover the variations that at least we expect right now. Think about 36 hours out, county by county around the First Coast. If you're looking forward to when we can just say, okay, we know what has happened and it's gone, that's Thursday. In fact, I think by sunset Wednesday, what's left of the core of Idalia will be up near Savannah, and some of us may even see the sun setting on Wednesday with clearing conditions on Thursday. And that then would be a cleanup day. After that, at least we'll have some relatively quiet conditions right on through the weekend. I do want to mention, many of you have been wondering, what about the supermoon? What about the blue moon? It's the second full moon in the month. That's why it's called the blue moon. But yes, it is a full moon in which that in itself, even without a storm, will cause tides to be about a foot above normal. So who needs to worry about that? We're most focused for those of you in Camden and Glenn counties, and we'll cover that for you as well in just a few moments.